Borodar Key Stage 2, Miss Hurley here with your Tuesday assembly. And do you know what? When I looked at the assembly rota this week, I was thrilled to be holding this assembly. And mostly just because I love this music of the week. It means that autumn is coming, the days are getting shorter, and we can start wearing thick coats, boots, and we've got lots of lovely celebrations coming up. I just love this time of year.
This is the test Monday to...
I know that you can sing along if you know the words.
Autumn days when the grass is good and the silk inside a chestnut shirt. Triplets beating in the air to be reviewed, and the things I love so well, so I mustn't forget. No, I mustn't forget to say a great big thank you. I mustn't forget.
I'm not going to play that all for you, but I'm sure if you want to listen, that you can listen to that yourselves. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about a Jewish festival, and this festival is called Sukkot. This festival lasts for 1 week and is a lot like the Christian festival of harvest. It's celebrated in autumn, and Jewish people like to give thanks to God for looking after them and thank God for the successful harvest of foods that they have just had. It is also a time where Jewish people remember those who escaped from slavery and being treated unfairly. They were led by Moses to a promised land. But in order to get to this promised land, they had to spend many days in a desert-like wilderness. So historically, most Jewish people travelled to Jerusalem to celebrate the festival at the temple. And these travellers were known as pilgrims, and their journey was known as a pilgrimage, okay? I'm sure you've heard them two words before, pilgrims, and pilgrimage. Jewish people would make the journey on donkeys, chariots, or camels. There would be many different languages spoken in Jerusalem during this time, but each person there would hold the shared belief and be celebrating the same festival. So nowadays, Sukkot is mostly celebrated at home. So Jewish people build a special hut called a sukkah. This is a key part of the Jewish festival and the way it is celebrated. A sukkah is a temporary building built with a wooden frame, okay? The roof must be made from something that was once growing, such as branches or leaves, because they believe that it is very important that the stars or God's light can still be seen through them. There are very, very strict rules which determine what a Sukkot looks like. Here is a picture of a Sukkot, and it says, do you know why the Star of David is shown in this picture, I wonder? So the Star of David is a recognized symbol of the modern Jewish identity, okay? The sukkah is a reminder of the dwellings made by Moses and his people whilst they were exploring this desert-like wilderness before arriving at the Promised Land. It is believed that they spent 40 years in this desert-like wilderness. So these sukkahs were a protection from the sun, wild animals, and bitterly cold nights. So just like they spent all their time in this sukkah, Jewish people will spend most of their time here during the festival. Meals are eaten here, and many people choose to sleep in the sukkah for 7 whole days. Maybe if we were in a warmer country, I'd consider it. I'm not sure about the weather we've had today. They often sing, talk, and tell stories within the sukkah. The sukkahs are always nicely decorated with candles, fruit, and they like to hang fruit from the roof and hang pictures and decorations on the walls. Here is a nicely decorated sukkah. And during the time spent in the sukkah, they will spend time thanking God for looking after them and those who are on their way to the promised land. Here's a lovely video to reiterate just what I've said.
The Festival of Sukkot. It's Sukkot. Sukkot is an important celebration for Jewish people all around the world, including here in Israel. It's the Jewish Harvest Festival, a time to give thanks and remind ourselves of the importance of our faith. It lasts for a whole week. Sukkot means huts. Every year in autumn, Jews all over the world prepare for Sukkot by building and decorating their own special hut called a sukkah. Every sukkah is different, but they must have at least 3 walls, a roof made of branches and leaves called sachach, and mustn't be covered by anything else. During the week of Sukkot, the sukkah becomes a part of our home. We eat all our meals there. Some people even sleep in their sukkah. But why do we do these things? Well, we build a sukkah to remind us of our ancient Jewish ancestors who escaped from slavery in Egypt and spent 40 years wandering the desert in search of the special land we believe God had promised to them. They couldn't build houses, so they lived in temporary shelters which weren't very strong. Without sturdy walls for safety, they had to rely on God to protect them from danger. So today, we spend time in our sukkah during Sukkot to honor our ancestors and remind ourselves of God's security and protection. And we leave holes in the roof so we can see God's light. The first few days of Sukkot are called Yom Tov. That means festival day. Yom Tov is 1 day for Jews who live in Israel and 2 days for Jews who live in other countries. On Yom Tov, work is forbidden, and in the evening we light candles, recite prayers, and have a big meal with our families. During the week, we spend time in our sukkah, recite special prayers of thanksgiving to God, worship at the synagogue, and sing and dance with our friends and family. But my favorite part of Sukkot is the taking of the 4 species. The 4 species are an etrog, a fruit that's a bit like a big lemon, and a collection of branches from palm, myrtle, and willow trees called a lulav. On each day of the festival, after Yom Tov, we take the 4 species, recite a blessing over them, and wave them in 6 directions. This symbolizes unity and reminds us that God is everywhere. The last day of Sukkot is called Hoshana Rabbah. On this day, we believe God decides our fate for the next year. There's a special service at the synagogue where we pray and circle the room 7 times to show gratitude for a blessed and fruitful year ahead. At the end of the service, everybody strikes the ground 5 times with bundles of willows, which symbolizes getting rid of sin. Then, we go back to our sukkah for the final celebration of the festival, a big festive meal. Sukkot is such a special time for my community. It helps us to appreciate the comforts we have and show thanks to God for His blessings. Happy holiday, Chag Sameach.
I thought that was a lovely video which just sums up everything I said with some lovely pictures. So here it says, why don't you give it a go? Maybe design and plan your own sukkah if you've got time. Remember all of these key things. It needs at least 3 walls and the 4th side may be left open. It can only be made the roof can only be made out of things that grow, okay? So if you are going to give that a go, come and see me in year 3 and I will have a look. I will be thrilled to see these. But if you don't have time, I understand that you are super, super busy. I want every single one of you to just take 2 minutes to think about the things that people do for you and the things that you have, okay? And I know that because we are so busy sometimes, we forget to do this. This is really important. And just have a think, are you thankful? Are you thankful for that? Do you show that you are thankful? I'm sure that there's lots of things maybe your teacher has done or your parents have done, which maybe you haven't shown that you are thankful for. Because sometimes we don't mean to. We're not doing it to be unkind. We just forget. If not, how could you show that you are thankful? I know that we have lots and lots of polite children in St Andrews. We always use our manners all the time. That is a way of showing that you're thankful. So I want you to have a think of this. And this week, I want everybody to be walking around school showing that they are thankful. So it might be thankful for the things that people do for you, for example, holding the door. Or it might be thankful for the things that you have. That is my challenge to you. Okay, diolch for listening and join me in the prayer. Diolch I ti am I bydd. Diolch am ein ffrindiau I gyd. Amen. Thank you for listening, Key Stage 2. Da bo ci.